and I think I at least met you sort of in the crowd on July 26th, and since we were together, as you know, we did self-selection on July 26th, and then we needed to redo voting for districts 2 and 4 for different reasons, and you've been alerted, notified about that, and the list of the current CPSC2 committee is right here. So I just wanted to remind you that owing to the Board of Commissioners suggestion, basically districts have to have the same allotted membership. So there are 3 members per each of the 4 districts, and you will see them listed here. And then we have asked for up to 2 alternates in the event that members were not able to come. And so you see that at this point we have a total group of 17, and we are seating the 17 of you because we want all your input. The only difference between being a member and an alternate is that when we come to the votes, the alternates cannot vote unless they are representing an absent member from their district. That said, basically, you will see at your places, we have a pin that says Douglas County and a pen that says Douglas County. When we are working together in this room, we are thinking about the entire Douglas County. And I want to thank you on behalf of, whatever I can thank you on behalf of, for being willing to participate in this effort in the way that it is being set up. Namely, that we will have Thursday meetings from 6 to 8 between now and approximately September 22nd. You'll see that sheet over there lists the meeting dates and the subject matter that we are intending to address at each one of them. Now, let me see if there's anything else. That was the welcome part, and I'm doing that as slowly as I can so that people could join. Let's do the introductions, and then we'll talk about business for tonight. So, the introductions. Excuse me. The introductions, your instructions are to come up to me, and we'll start with Alan. We'll come in this way. Hey, Benny. Did you get your name tag? And sign in?
Over there.
There's a sign-in sheet next to the name tags. Okay, so what we're going to do now, one by one, and fairly quickly. I mean, basically, we will be moving this, so you will not be bored. You will not be bored. We have a lot to cover so that we can really get to the substance of what we're up to tonight and each night. Right now, what I'm going to ask each person to do is to come up, offer us your name, and tell us where you live by placing a pin in the map of Douglas County, because we want to see that we are representing the entire county. So, if you don't know exactly where you live, I don't know what to do about that. At any rate, and I know it's very small, so that's what we're trying to do. And then say one thing that you enjoy about living in Douglas County. So Al, see if you can model that.
Okay, all right. I'm Al Dobbs. I live in Villa Rica off of Liberty Road. We'll put right here. And I enjoy Douglas County. I was raised here. I don't want to go anywhere else. I know almost everybody, and it's a family-oriented county.
Thank you. Thank you. He has modeled that beautifully. You really have a sentence.
Hi, I'm Pearl Smith, and where I live, I'm gonna put it over here, but this is not quite where
That's all right.
it
We're
is.
not gonna come to your house.
Okay. And what I like about living in Douglas County, I do like living close to shopping and restaurants and festivals.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Michael Young. I live in Mirror Lake, right there. And I like Douglas County because I've been everywhere in the world, but I like the quietness and the closeness to shopping. Atlanta is close enough to visit, and I don't have to worry about living there. So Douglas County is my kind of speed.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm John Sell, and I live in Stewart's Creek at Chapel Hill, right off of Stewartville Road. And like Michael, I like the small town feel of Douglasville and Douglas County, but having the amenities of the big city, the sports teams, the arts and culture that Atlanta offers.
Okay, I'm Kenny Campbell, I live in Fairplay. Let's see.
You're not on that.
I'm not. I'm not saying this.
66 and Highway 5?
It's very Tyree, that should be Shell right
Right
there.
about there.
Excellent. And where do you love about living?
Well, like the rest of them, we got a lot of farmland, you know, you can get out, enjoy the country, but you're still close enough if you know, want to go eat and shop or whatever you need to do.
Great, thanks.
My name is Mike Karate. I live in McWhirter. Anybody heard of McWhirter? McWhirter is part of Fairplay. I am Flyblow Creek, right there. And I love living out in the country. And but I can still be in downtown Atlanta in a short time if I need to go.
Okay, Millicent Nation. And I live here. And I like living here because it's country, but it's got some city to it, feel, and everybody just kind of like each other a little bit.
Well, that's nice. Thank you.
My name's Forrest Johnstone. I live in the Arbor Station neighborhood. Like everybody else, I like the proximity, and then expanding upon Millicent, an example of the friendliness while I was out doing my homework. I encountered no less than 75 different people. Not a single person said they didn't have the time to sit there and talk with me. And so, you know, that says a lot when you go up to a complete stranger and say, "Hey, can I talk to you for a minute?" And I'm carrying a little clipboard so I can make my notes, and not a single person said, "Nah," or ran away from me or anything like that. So the people, I think.
Amen. We are doing the best we can. I usually don't do this work in a board room like this.
Hi.
Usually we're at tables.
I'm Daphne Simmons, and I live off of Holly Springs. Off of Chapel Hill, near Holly Springs. I can figure that out. There's Chapel Hill. Oh, okay. There's some room. Yep, downstairs. Downstairs shows somewhere around here somewhere. we're not on the map. And I like the proximity, I like also the people, as well as the community activities like the Ranger Festival, the Douglasville, and also the September festivals and garden clubs that I'm part of.
Great, thank you. And before you sit down, welcome.
Thank
Come
you.
in, we are doing introductions.
Great, I'm sorry I'm late.
And so, the introduction is your name, where you live, and placing a pin on the map,
Okay.
and one thing you like about living in Douglas County.
My name is Susan Arnett. I live right between, let's see, Highway 92 and Chapel Hill Road. And right here.
Excellent. And before you sit, Cortez, come on over.
And one of the things I love about living in Douglas County is it's not Boston, which is where I just came from.
Well, welcome home. What we are doing is our introductions, and so offer your name and then find where you live, tell us where you live, and one thing that you enjoy about living in Douglas County.
My name is Cortez Harris. I live in Palmer Falls subdivision off Riverside, Franklin. And one thing I love about Douglas County is it's more secluded than living closer to the city. And you don't have as much crime and all that, so I enjoy that.
Thank you. Hello, and before you sit, we're doing introductions, and so you come and get ready to introduce yourself and tell us where you live by putting a pin there, and one thing you love about living in Douglas County. And the instructions over there. Where do you live?
Hello, my name is Mel Hughes, and I stay in Anawake Trails. One thing I like or I enjoy about living in Douglas County is it's quiet, but there's still enough here to keep me and my family busy. You know, I come from a really small town where everybody knows everybody else. Grew up working in a grocery store where people would just walk in, they knew exactly who my grandmother was. And it has that same feel here. But at the same time, if I really wanted to go to the city, I'm just a few miles away from downtown Atlanta. Whereas where I'm from, it take a little while to get to the city. But you know, I just really enjoy it. I have plenty of room to raise my daughter and to spend time with my wife. And
Further east. Keep going.
Yeah.
It's down near Boundary Ward.
Right there, right in there.
oh, Anawake Road.
That's it? Great. Thank you. Well, we see that we have quite a spread, and I am not sure where the rest of our members are, and yet we're going to carry on. So, let's talk about what we're up to tonight. We want to approve the July 26th meeting minutes from the last time that we met, and they are at your places. We want to establish some working guidelines for this group. We want to, tonight is the Parks and Recreation focus. And so we want to get an overview of the Parks and Recreation information that we had in both in the PowerPoint and that we so we're going to learn more than to add to what our homework was, which was to go look at those parks. And also, for those of you who have just arrived, please hand in your homework, and you can hand in your homework to Randy, who will be working on near intersections information in the future. So we're going to learn about Parks and Recs sort of with more detail, and then identify the things that we want to take into consideration in choosing the parks and recreation projects that could be funded when the SPLOST referendum is passed in November. And then we're going to break up into small working groups to put together, and we hope tonight decide upon a basket of parks and recreation projects totaling the 17 million, which, if you will recall, was the amount that the first Citizens Project Selection Committee group recommended. Okay?
Actually, they recommended 13 million, changed to 17, but they did agree on 17.
We are now at 17. So that's what we're doing.
That is millions, because I understand that's percentage.
Yeah, it's percentage, but for when you're picking the projects, on the low end, as far as the revenues for the SPLOST, it's estimated right at 100 million. So that'd be 17 million. Now, it could ultimately end up being more than that. But based on the averages that we had for the previous SPLOST, the jail SPLOST, we're looking at about 17 million.
So it's in between 96 and 115 million, am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going for 100. We're going to use that as our working effort.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So for those of you all who were there on July 26th, you may recall this meeting guidelines piece of paper that I referred to. This is where it begins to take effect. So I want to introduce these ideas to you. We started it on time. Just as we started it exactly at 6, we will end it exactly at 8. Everyone speaks, and yet one person at a time will really help so that we can really hear each other. When we do speak, we want to be short and sweet. That is basically a sentence, because we've got a lot of folks, we've got a lot of ideas, and that's actually one reason we'll be working in small groups extensively, so that you can really talk with each other and then come up with the recommendations and the ideas that you share from smaller groups, and then we join it into larger groups. We respect others' opinions. The wisdom is in the room. So I'm going to say that even though all 17 of you are not here, and I haven't yet done mentally how many of the 12 official members are here, basically the wisdom is in the room to do the work that we are doing on a given evening. We have to believe that. And actually, from my experience, it's true. Once an idea is out, it belongs to the room, not to the individual. It's not going to be John said. It's going to be, this is an idea that came from our group, or from our pair, or from us. There is no wrong or dumb idea. One other, I don't know why I'm thinking about this right now. Basically, sometimes ideas that people say, well, this is sort of stupid. Actually, that begins to lead to a train of thought that actually gets somewhere pretty interesting and constructive. And I'm just pointing out that these toys, these slinkies, are for your entertainment. Please don't take them home so that I can keep bringing them back each time, to help you concentrate, because it's a challenge to sit at this hour from 6 to 8 and focus. And so these, I hope, will help you. Each of us is an active participant with individual accountability. That can be read in a couple of different ways, and let me just mention one. This 2-hour period from 6 to 8, during that time, there will be no bio break. I'm not going to be able to say, okay, 15 minutes, come back. So when you need to excuse yourself, go for it and come back.
Since she's bringing that up, the restrooms are out the front door, to the right. There's a men's down that first hallway there, right outside the front door.
There's coffee in here too, water, and some snacks out here on the table.
Another way to think of this active participant with individual accountability, I hesitate to suggest this, and yet this is what I always offer. If, when we're going along, we'll be going at a certain speed, you have a question that would probably keep you from following along with the flow, please do ask it. What I found is that if it's that kind of question, you're not the only person who might have that. So that's another example of individual accountability. No wrong or dumb idea. We silence all our electronics. So far, so good. Please do. We use a parking lot for questions that we won't be able to address today or immediately. That I imagine could be something that will be something that we'll really use, because we have a bunch of different subjects, and it may be that when we're talking about Parks and Recs, somebody talks about an intersection or something, and while it isn't the time, it won't be the time to talk about it in tonight's flow, we will want to take note of it so that we can address it at the right time, okay? And finally, we watch our butts. It's as if I'm on a personal crusade on that. If I say, Pearl, that is a lovely dress, but she is not going to remember that I said it was a lovely dress. You know, but you know the button is unbuttoned, or but you know there's a thread hanging. Whatever it is, it negates it. And in this precious time where we are coming together to be a team on behalf of the county, in this very precious focus where we get to offer our voices about what will be supported across the county. The more we can say "and" between whatever our first often nice thing is and our second maybe suggestion or difference is, it could help. So I just offer that. Now, let us look at, I am presuming, we are now taking up the subject of the minutes from July 26th. And I'm going to, I am presuming that we have sent it to you, have we not?
No.
Have we not?
Nope, we have none.
Okay. I was hoping for a quick approval of them, but if you have not seen it, then I'm not sure how we can do that quickly at this point. Do you have a concept?
So we're gonna read through them, and then hopefully by the end of the meeting, we can approve them.
So let's put it
The
at
main thing,
at
I
the
mean,
end.
as far as the agenda that's on the minutes, that's the same as the agenda we had last time. Some of the main points are the votes. There's three or four different votes. The first vote was the meeting on July 26th, and then there's two emails that some of you may not be aware about, but we re-voted in District 4 and in District 2 via email. Those emails are included on the back, and any runoff, and then the final selection of the members are included on the, maybe the third to the last page.
Okay, so I hope you can look at it in some crack of the meeting. What I want to move to now is some working guidelines for our time together. There are a couple that I wanted to suggest and sort of to get us into the realm of things. Some guidelines would be some of these. We're going to start and end on time, for instance. And so we don't need to put that here. I would like to suggest that we support our decisions as a group. When the group has decided, we support them. Once we have agreed on a project, we neither go out and promote, because we cannot. This is not our job. Our job is to look at the possibilities and recommend them and in prioritization. We do not go out and promote, nor do we go back on our decisions. So that is the proposal. And then the alternates participate fully and vote only when their district member is absent, which is what I said already. Now, I'm going to invite you, and you'll have to find, in pairs. So basically, Alan, Pearl, and that's your paper right there. And then Michael and John, you'll be together. And Kenny and Mike, you'll be together. Millicent and Susan, and Cortez and Forrest, and Mel and Daphne. They'll be together. And so they aren't, you'll be able to find between the two of you. So if there were other people sitting, it was set up for all 17, and now we are going to adjust to what we have right now. So the question is, think of a guideline that will help our committee work well. So here's the process. First, I'm going to give you like a minute for each person to think of a guideline that you would then want to share with your partner. So I would say something like, well, I'm hoping that we will really, I guess I could say, I'm hoping that we can come to consensus on each thing. I might say that. That might not be what people want to do. You know, that's an example of what we could say. Or I'm hoping that we will learn a lot, and that we'll really focus on the learning and be better with Douglas County. Basically, it's like, what are the working guidelines that you would like to offer? So each person will think for a minute, and then I'll invite you to share, and then you'll write large. No. Hold on. Actually, then you'll share it to me, and I'll write it up. So.
You want us to write on these or no?
No.
Okay.
Thank you for the clarifying question. Not yet. Okay.
Yeah, like Article
So, yes, you can make notes on your pad, and I'm going to give you like a few seconds to sort of think, and then you'll share and come up with one, max two, that you want to offer as a pair.
Hear people out.
We have to come to consensus on one.
I wasn't thinking email throughout the course of the day or every other day. You pulled me in all that. So, absolutely.
All right, are you ready?
One question, Tina. You
Yes.
said
who would say, agenda for tonight?
There is an agenda for tonight, but not a written one.
Okay, as I'm looking for it, and
Oh, it is. Oh, I just showed it to you.
is it over on the right?
Behind Mark.
Oh, it's right over there.
Okay.
Do I need to sort of explain it? Would that help?
No, I understand. I was lost when you did the minutes. So we are not approving the minutes, am I
We
correct?
cannot approve the minutes yet because people haven't read them.
Okay,
And so therefore, I didn't think that it was really appropriate to sort of say, well, you approve the minutes and you haven't even looked at them. So we're gonna have to do that at the end of the evening.
okay. Can I ask who our recorder is, or who our secretary is?
Unless somebody else wants to volunteer, I'll be happy to give those duties.
Great. Now I know. Thank you.
Okay? So basically, we are now working on the working guidelines. Then we're going to have a round robin where each person gives an observation from your looking at the Parks and Rec homework. Then we are going to hear from Mark about Parks and Recs. You know, basically he's going to go through the PowerPoint and give you some more information, sort of behind the scenes. And I've asked him only to do facts, not his opinions. We'll have a very brief Q&A. And then we will break into small groups and well, right before that, we'll make sure that we have a sense of what things we want to be thinking about. What things we want to be thinking about when we choose among the Parks and Rec options. And then you'll go into small groups and in small groups, figure out which projects you want to support, and then we will bring them all together and we'll see what's in common, and then where the conversation needs to go to come to further agreement. All by 8 o'clock. Okay? So, I am now going to go around and ask each pair what guideline you would like to offer to the group for working.
Do we each give our own, or does one person report for the two of us?
But I'm hoping that you will give one that you agree to right now.
Okay. Ours is to proactively think of the alternative to what you think is the best.
So we proactively think of the alternative.
And so, you know, sometimes we become so fixated on what we think is the best that we fail to acknowledge that there are alternatives. And so we look for ways, you know, we proactively consider and discuss alternative views.
Thank you. All right. Welcome, and you're sitting between, with no problem, these two guys who just did that exercise. So what is your guideline?
We would like to understand why a specific project is a priority to a certain individual. To understand what drives you to think that project is more important.
We seek to understand why a given project is a priority for another. Okay?
That could be best done by making points, not speeches.
Right.
Who said it on the end of it?
And welcome, Brandon.
Yeah.
And when, in some moment when you're walking around, I will give you a pin and you can put a pin in where you live. Moving on though, between you guys, Kenny and Mike, what did you come up with?
Well, we came up with, we would like to respect each person's view. I guess it kind of dovetails what was just said.
Thank you. Okay? Allison and Susan?
That we hope that we make the best decision for the county.
Okay?
Came up with, consider the county, not an area or a neighborhood.
Okay, we consider the county. Thank you, and on that one, for those of you who came in after I said this, as a way to remind us, everyone has a Douglas County pin, which either we invite you to bring back each time or leave here so that we can give it back to you each time, as a way to remind us that we are paying attention to the county. And if
But
that-
it's your pin.
It's your pin, it's your pin. And then the other way is this pen, which also says Douglas County. So we're doing what we can to keep reminding ourselves that it's for everybody that we're working and we're serving. Thank you. Next group.
Our hope is that everyone is allowed to have a clear and elaborate understanding of everyone else.
We are allowed to have a clear and elaborate understanding of others' views. Okay, now, is there any guideline that you all had discussed that you think needs to be added to this one, to these? Because I have another sheet. Is there anything else? So what I want to do is, let's read these, and I'm going to ask you as you listen whether you think that you can and are willing to abide by these guidelines that we're offering to ourselves. So, we support our decisions as a group. Once we've agreed on a project, we neither go out and promote nor go back on our decisions. The alternates participate fully and vote only when their district member is absent. We proactively think of the alternative to what we think is best. We seek to understand why a given project is a priority for another. We respect each person's view. We hope we make the best decision for the county. We consider the county, not the neighborhood. We are allowed to have a clear and elaborate understanding of others' views. Are we ready to do that together? Thank you. And we will remind ourselves. We're going to need to remind ourselves of this occasion. Thank you. Now, since
Brandon
I
has-
What?
Just a quick statement. I know that one thing that he said that I thought was pretty big was being able to make points and not speeches so that the time of everybody's time is respected and we can stay inside the bounds of the 2 hours.
Thank you.
Because, you know, people can get off on tangents and keep
We
going.
make points, not speeches. I'm going to put this right here, just, thank you. And I'm even going to elaborate on that a little bit. I think that's one reason you have me. So gently, I hope, I will be reminding us the short and sweet. And another reason for the methods that we'll be using, it will be so that, you know, that every time we'll pose a question and have each person think of your idea, your concept for the question. So we're beginning with the individual, and then we will connect in a pair or in a small group and see how that happens, and then ultimately we'll come collectively. And that is a way so that people will be able to talk with each other. And we will not, the process is not going to permit anyone to give speeches, because we don't have time for that. And it's inappropriate, given what we're working on. Thank you. Okay. Now, I do ask some people sometimes to applaud. So let's applaud, because that is the first thing we've actually done together. Admittedly, it was very quick. Now, your homework. So you've handed in, has everybody, Brandon, did you have your homework, and that will go over to Randy. Did everybody else hand in your homework to Randy? I will remind you that next week we get to talk about resurfacing and intersections and operations. And he will take what you brought, he will see what everybody thought, he will show you what people thought, and then connect it to what the county has been thinking, or so we want to see where the overlaps are, and that will help us in our process. So that is for next week. As for this week, the other side of the piece of paper for your homework, the Parks and Rec observation, shall we say. I know that some people have really spent a lot of time. I've heard that photos have been taken, et cetera, et cetera. For our purposes right now, I'd like to go around and have each person just in one sentence say something that struck you from looking at the parks. This isn't the time to say, X park I really think needs to have having. It's really, what was your impression from going around this county and looking at the places that were described? So I'm interested in a sentence, and we want to listen to the variety. This begins our experience of listening to all people's different views, where there are commonalities and where there aren't. So Daphne, would you model that?
Looking at the parks, I see that they're geared towards a certain group. For the most part, it looks like early elementary kids. That's where I see it quite a few parks kind of geared, most of them geared towards that.
Thank you.
So we're missing that team.
Thank you. Yeah.
I actually agree with that there is something lacking for the middle-aged to teenage years, and there are definite renovations that need to be made.
Thank you. Forrest, what did you say?
Many of our parks are heavily used, and a few of them are almost in an abandoned state. So there's quite a contrast between parks and their use, or lack of.
That's what I noticed was that a lot of the parks are geared towards softball. It seems like it's a big push for softball. And not where I'm from, we have a lot of basketball. And I just want to see that many outdoor basketball.
My observation was similar to his. Some are used a lot, some are not used very much at all.
I thought that the ones that I visited was well maintained, but some of them that showed their age, but they kept them maintained. Because when I went by, I was like, they ain't changed that building in 20 years. But yeah, but it was still well maintained.
Welcome.
Thanks.
I'm Tina, and you're?
Marcus.
Marcus, welcome. What we're doing, and I'll let you sort of settle in, we're going around and giving a sentence, our impression of the parks and recreation centers that we looked at for our homework. So, Mike.
What I saw was there were a few in dire need, and then I saw a lot that were well maintained. And I was, put it in one word, I was surprised. I didn't find them as bad as I thought I was gonna find them.
Kenny?
The ball fields themselves look real good. They've been maintained well, the grass and the infields. But the buildings, some of them need maintenance.
Yeah, the facilities are dated. They are fairly narrow in scope for the type of diversity needed, and also some of them are located in strange areas of the county.
Thank you.
If I do one sentence, I would say that all the parks are nice, are a pretty nice size. I was pleased with that as I was riding around. They're pretty nice sized parks, but if we can work on the beautification of the park. So if it was less specifically green, but more like flowers and just like somewhere that looks more welcoming and inviting instead of so just maybe it was because it was kind of cloudy outside, but I really feel like if we could put some flowers in, just some things that are really nice and attractive.
Thank you.
I think the parks that I went to looked a little bit more run down than I expected. There were some of the ball fields were generally in good shape, but the structure around it was generally more run down than I expected. And I had a question for Mark about the Coast Road ball field. Is that part of the county? Because those look really
Yes.
bad.
Yes, there were some renovations done. I'm checking to see exactly what, but early 2003, 2002.
They weren't in here, so I said, maybe that's not part of the venue we're looking at.
Thank you. Good. Thanks.
That's terrible. But, you know, if there's anything that needs to be added, this group, you know, is more than welcome to.
I'll give you the two words that came to my mind instantly when I visited the ones I visited. Eyesore and dilapidated.
I'm gonna put all the parks that I saw, and I went to all of them. The one thing that resonates in my mind is security. Big Brother's watching everywhere, but there is not a single thing for security in any of the parks. That's a huge concern to me.
There are cameras.
There are cameras, I just didn't see them.
Cameras are somewhere.
That's somewhere.
So, we've just had an experience of the variety of people's thinking and also some ideas that you may want to move on bit by bit. So right now, we want to hear from Mark about sort of the overview with some more information. And then just, again, to keep telling you where we're going. Then we'll step back and see if we want to highlight or itemize the things that we want to take into consideration when we're choosing. And then we're going to go into our small groups. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot you. Did you have an observation from your homework?
To have an observation? Or sorry, do you want me to get an input on what I thought of the parks?
Yeah.
Actually, I think it's been repeated several times within the group. I mean, there were some that were maintained miraculously. I thought they were very good, but there were definitely some that were in need of repair. There was exposed wiring. There was caution tape wrapped around almost every scorch. I mean, it was remarkably under-maintained.
So what's exciting, I think, is that this group is going to get to weigh in on where to make some difference. So I think we're ready. So what we're going to do is hear from Mark, have a little Q&A, talk about what we want to take into consideration, and then break into groups and actually start talking about the specifics.
Okay, for Parks and Recreation, just to give you a couple of ideas of what was on the 2002 SPLOST. Boundary Waters Aquatic Center and Baseball Complex. The soccer and football fields were rough graded. We ended up, it was a couple of years later where we put the fence around the soccer, and then the football was finished maybe about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. We Fight Senior Center. Winston Baseball Park, which is the lower field, not the upper ones next to Highway 78. Skateboard complex. Deer Lake Park Dam renovations, and then the Lithia Springs baseball complex, that's it. So it was pretty good.
So this is what you have done.
That was the 2002 SPLOST.
How much money did those projects, what was the amount of dollars spent?
I'd have to check and see if there was a total of, I'll check.
Were all these projects completed?
Yes.
They all within budget.
No.
Where's the skateboard from?
It's at Deer Lake on Mac Road.
Over by the dog park.
The aquatic center was way over, it ran over budget, way over budget. Okay, as far as some other things, a lot of this information comes out of the 2009 master plan for parks and recreation. So possibility of one or two recreation, multi-purpose recreation centers. What goes in there? It could be basketball courts, classrooms, meeting rooms. It could be a pool, could be, water features. If it's just the recreation center, you're looking at about 6.8 million. If you add the gym, then you're looking at another 1.7. Possible park renovations. Deer Lake is actually, I've got both of them on here, but Deer Lake Park, cost estimate on that is $400,000. That's for the circle drive and the entrance road. We paid the parking lot last summer. And then renovation of Fair Play, Billard, Winston. You could add Post Road Park. You could add. Now there was some minor renovations that were done in some of these parks back in like 2003, 2004. They added some dirt. They laser graded the infield, things of that nature.
Let me just interrupt a minute to help you think about how to be thinking about this. Mark is going through the options. When you get in your small group, you're going to have the options on each piece of paper. And you're going to choose in your group which options you want to recommend going forth. So just to sort of show you that this is the overview of the different possibilities. Then you will have the specifics to begin to put together.
In the first selection group, we talked about modifying these options and instead of spending 4.5 million, we do something less in the way of upgrades.
That's going to be possible. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Was it Fair Play, Billard, Winston, that group?
Yes, ma'am.
How much are those parks used?
They're used a lot.
Yeah, that's probably the only thing there.
There to do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're used a lot. You go down Fair Play in the afternoon, even if there's people not playing ball, there's tons of people walking around that track. It's a walking track, it's not a regular track, like any living. Yes, it's heavily used.
Okay.
Mark, does Clayton Park fall into the county's?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. On that map over here is every park in the county. It also has all the major thoroughfares and collectors, arterials, and there is a fire station number 1 is up top right corner over there. And then the I guess it's peach color is the city limits. So Fair Play Park, for example, these next and the next two, the examples that are shown is total renovation of the entire park. Totally demolish the entire thing, rebuild a new park. So worst case scenario, that's what you're looking at, 4.5 million. So there are things that could be done to these parks. If you go in there and replace dugouts, then, that's not $4.5 million. So that number can be changed. These numbers can be altered
So
based on what you think needs to be done.
is there a reason, I understand how they're spread, the fields are spread out. Is there a reason why you want them all together?
One, the concession stand is in the middle of every one of them. I mean, that's the conventional pinwheel design of a new baseball facility. The one in Boundary Waters right now, if you go look at it, that's what it looks like. Yes, sir.
Mark, I don't know if you
Increase
can-
capacity,
Sorry.
it doesn't necessarily increase capacity, there's still 5 fields.
Yeah, there's still 5 fields, but it does increase parking. We're looking at another, I believe it was 47 spaces. Then you also don't have kids walking. You see the little field up the right, the tiny field on the right-hand side, that's for the little bitty kids, and you got them walking across the parking lot. Their parents, could, you know, one of them could be their brothers playing down here on the bigger field. Help keep kids out of the parking lot too.
Well, the basketball court is in the parking lot at that park.
Yes. Actually, they're what it's goals.
Well, the goals
Yeah,
are
two
in the
side
parking
goals.
lot.
2 side goals out there.
There and Villard.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's fair to ask you this question, but what is the annual budget allotted for the maintenance of the parks and recs?
I don't know that right offhand.
Okay.
Have there been a feasibility study done, like what she was saying, as far as usage, where you can see how much traffic is going in and going out, then based on that, which more dollars and that's not
Included in the 2009 master plan, all these parks, it was recommended that they be renovated.
But did they do a study? I mean, they.
Yes, they did a study and came up with the master plan. It was, I believe, Lowe's engineered.
We have access to that stuff? I got kind of a general question that is not specific, but it's kind of confusing to me that the best facilities in the county belong to the school system and are not used on a regular basis by county parks and recreation. Why can't we come up with some kind of agreement that surely would be less expensive to use existing facilities like basketball courts, football fields, tracks that are there, not being used in the summer months at all,
Yeah.
for.
And we do use those.
Well,
Go ahead.
I was about to say, as a school city and as a school employee, I can tell you, at Chapel Hill, you can go up there nearly 24 hours a day, and somebody's using some part of that facility.
For the school system,
For the school system.
even in the summer months.
Basketball, I can tell you, is all the entire month of June. Football is up there June and July. Band is up there, they're up there until 11, 12 o'clock at night, doing different activities. Same thing with the theater and the drama department. They're a little less during the summer, but the school systems get quite a bit of use in their facilities, at least at the high school level. I don't know the middle school and elementary levels, but I know the high school,
But
it gets used pretty heavy use.
probably would mean that you need to throw more money toward the schools, because guess what? They're gonna have to maintain those parks a little bit more.
Repair them.
Yeah.
And we do have agreements with the schools. We use their basketball courts at some point, we do use their basketball courts, and we have to rent them. But we use them for free. They don't charge us, they use the aquatic center. So we do have an agreement with the school system on that.
Can we kind of like look at vision in terms of, all these parks, like, what is it that you want out of these parks?
Well, essentially the park's there. The park's there,
Right.
most of them were built
But if we're renovating.
30, 40 years ago, so.
Yeah, if
you
we're
know.
renovating, what is it that you want to, does anybody see a vision for these parks?
You would ask, if it was possible for us to go to Cobb County and look at some of the.
Look at some of their
So-
multi-purpose recreation
okay.
facilities.
So and I didn't get a chance, are you saying we don't have anything like that? And if we
As far as
don't,
indoor, all we have is Deer Lake. We have one gym at Deer Lake. As far as indoor facilities, not counting the aquatic center.
See, that's what I'm asking, like, what's the vision that we have, we had a vision to basically promote, athletics in terms of swimming or baseball seem to be huge. I mean, what is the vision where that's, you know, each park could be driven by a vision.
Yeah, well, each park is pretty much gonna be driven by what's there. Like Fair Play, Winston, you're looking at baseball. Bill Arp, you got football, baseball. Post Road Park, you got softball and baseball and football.
The reason I
And then
asked
Boundary
is,
Waters, you got football, soccer, and baseball.
okay, so like, a vision
Or
would
swing.
be like, okay, let's say a community, because Douglasville has grown like over 50% within the last 2 years, right? Or so, 10 to 12 years. So let's say you had a, you know, an area of neighborhood, because we do have a lot of parks. And the vision there is, okay, to match that up to the way that community on that particular area would like to use the park. Or like, for example, we have an area for our quad, what's our neighborhood quad, we see people, because we do have that trail, do we see people going in and out, and do we want to have this communication among connecting to other cities? Yeah, that's how I was looking for it. Do we have a vision?
I'm really not sure I understand the question. I mean,
Are
we
you
do
saying
have a
like the
2009.
demographics have changed, so it's part,
That, I mean, those are just
Demographics.
examples that I was given in terms of why I thought a vision for the parks is, you know, important. And then like, you know, the vision changes because, the new age, you know, we're into high technology and things like that, so your vision changed from there. Maybe you want more, teens or more high school students more involved so that those students can have more opportunity to get involved in the best schools. You know, I'm just saying what vision do we have. We do have that, in the Poly Center we have in the back. It's only a mile, but it's, you know, I imagine we have a vision of connecting that way with other
Well, actually,
counties, right?
as far as talking about the trails in the back, there's already a plan to connect the trails at Boundary Waters to Sweetwater Creek State Park. We're working on that now.
Right, that's what I'm saying, it's a vision, that's what I was just asking.
Is that included in the 2009 master plan?
That trail?
The
No, I
vision,
don't think so.
vision, you know, where.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's, you know, that we supply the best athletic facilities for all ages. Because I don't think we're centered around, you know, young kids, but there are larger fields at some of these places, but, you know, we have one gym. There's one gym.
But we need to sort of keep talking about the options. Unfortunately, let me just remind you, our mandate is to choose among the options and or suggest other options. We don't have, unfortunately, the liberty or the time to be able to step back and create a whole vision, and we aren't, you know, we just aren't set up for that. So the 2009 document would be one to refer to, and yet we're going to have to figure out what we're going to be considering, putting our best heads together.
Well, Mark, while you're on Fairplay Park, when going into that park, there's two businesses on the right. I think it's Dollar General, on the left is a convenience store. The convenience store, the landscaping is atrocious, which puts a bad name on the park. I mean, it's ridiculous. So I don't know if the county can do something to, say something to the store, but
If they're not upkeeping their existing, then yes, we can.
it's horrible. It's ridiculous.
But see,
I'll make a note
then
of it. We'll look at it.
I was gonna direct mine to Randy, so I was hoping that, cause I'm like,
Okay.
trying to get out of that part
Yeah, but that's,
is
we
awful.
can talk about that. That's one of the parking lot conversations we need to have. We need to stay on course. But yes, I'll check on that. Bill Arp Park, actually, there's some grade issues here. The fields on the left side are higher than the ones on the right by approximately 10 to 12 feet. So not only is it the layout, it's also the grades. But there's, you know, does it have to be 3.7 million and, you know, tear up the whole park? No, it doesn't. There are things that we can do with less. Those dugouts are about the size of this chair. I mean, they're tiny. I mean, they are really small. But little things.
Mark, at Bill Arp, that tennis court, it's not even used up on top of the hill, is it?
It opened up.
No, it doesn't appear to be, no. No, it doesn't.
One more quick one. Is Wi-Fi considered at any other parks? I mean, the digital age?
Yes, I think it is.
And it's already in the.
Mhm.
That's
Mark, maybe this question was answered. Who is in charge of Parks and Recs now?
That's Gary Dukes.
Is he out? I
Yes,
understand.
he had a triple bypass.
Okay.
He's coming back Monday. Yeah, he had a triple bypass. No heart attack, triple bypass. So. Winston Park, if you notice the bottom right-hand corner, that's the new fields that were built with the previous SPLOST. The right-hand side, you can see the layout. And essentially what people did, you know, we need a field out here. School board may have given us this land a long time ago. I don't know. It could have been Mr. Waltrip next door. Put a baseball field out here, and then 5 years later it grows, and hey, we need another field. So it's piecemeal over the last 30, 40 years. So left-hand side, you know, you could change all that really easy. This one would be a little bit less. That's a 2.8, but there's still things that could be done. You could go replace the concession stand out there. I mean, the concession stand, it's not that it hadn't been maintained, it's that it's old. They're old.
Real old. The buildings on all
It just looks like they started
Yeah,
that
they
way.
are
Cinder
all of them.
block, I mean, it was
Never
horrible
finished.
looking.
Possible Lithia Springs Senior Center, senior services building with pool. You will have two options in here. One is just the senior center / senior services building, that's $6 million. You add the pool, then you're jumping up to 9.5. Possible water features at some of the parks. Small water features, and I'll show you a picture of those in a minute. There's one in Analytics. Yeah, same thing, got a big one. Yes, but it's,
Splash park.
so possibly Boundary Water, possibly Clinton, there may possibly be, you know, some other parks that it could be, these could be located. Tennis courts. There's about 7 tennis courts. I think I got them on the list. You're looking at about $195,000 a piece to resurface those and put up new lighting. Yes, sir.
When you say, like, say for instance, could you go back to the previous slide? Like where the splash area, are they, like, say we want one on this part of the county, one on that, is it servicing, are you all thinking about that, like, this one's gonna service this area, this one's gonna service that other area, or how are you all coming up with the specific parts?
Well, as far as the specific parks, there's not really that much room to put one, say at Winston. Boundary Waters has a lot of room, Clinton has a lot of room out front. Bill Art Park, there's really not any room. I mean, the park, it's full. Property line to property line, pretty much. When we looked at some of the land behind Bill Art from the school, I'll go back to Bill Art really well, it doesn't show it, but it's down on the bottom of the screen, and it's pretty much all floodplain. So the only really usable areas where they park their buses, and they would get that. So, yes, ma'am.
When you say resurface the tennis courts and starting lights, $195K each, are you saying that like for, is the tennis court like 2 double or just that one?
Big
That
one.
one?
Yeah, big
And
one.
then maybe like more lights or something?
Mhm.
So, I did want to ask, I see where you want to put the senior center in Lithia Springs.
That's a possibility.
Okay, because I was gonna say with the growing population, and those senior apartments out near, on the west side, wouldn't we want to do something out where, I mean, they can't build enough apartments for the seniors out there. Yet there's not, they have to drive to.
Woody 5.
Yeah.
As far as the aging population, it is more centered around Lithia Springs. The one at Woody 5, go down there during the day, it is full. There's like 3,000 members, it gets a lot of use. It really does. Boundary Waters Park, a couple things that were not finished down there, lighting for the soccer fields. And if you went down there, if you'll notice, sort of between the playground, the parking lot, the football, and the soccer, there's a big area for concession stands. Those have not been built either. They were talked about a couple of years ago when they were actually in the plans for the football field, and there wasn't enough money in the budget, so they did not. Concession stand restrooms did not get built. We have portable restrooms that we can have out there, or you can walk to the baseball field, which is 500-600 yards away.
There's a concrete slab of something, some construction going on now. What is
It's going to be a
that?
storage building.
Storage building.
Winston Soccer Complex, and let's see, I don't have a picture of that. But actually, at Winston Park, actually, if you see just above the new fields, I got a pointer on here somewhere, I don't know how to use it. So the new fields on the bottom right, just above that, you see that rectangle area, that is the school board's, the grass area is where their septic tank, their septic lines are, to the right. And then down beside the new fields to the right, there's about 40 acres. School board owns it, we do not own it. But I have talked to the school board, I mean, not the school board, I've talked to the superintendent. So 8 full-size soccer fields, you're looking at about 10.2 million.
That's their idea for the 46 acres, is to put 8 soccer parks there, 8 soccer fields there.
That includes everything, concession stand, restrooms, the entrance road, parking lot, fence, goals, lights, everything. Personnel and M&O maintenance operation are not included, can't be included in SPLOST. You're looking at about almost $200,000 a year.
Is there enough need in the county for 8 soccer fields? I mean, I don't know, I'm just,
That's what I asked you, who's using the field, the football, is that like people coming in, like different teams or organizations?
Well, different teams come in, actually right now, Chestnut Log and Boundary Waters are being used by Georgia Storm.
That's an organization?
The soccer organization out Douglas County, Carroll County, Harrison County, and maybe Collier, I think.
You said they have like leagues?
Yes, from young kids, age 4 to 19.
They put on tournaments that bring teams from all over Metro and all over the southeast. No, at Chestnut Lawn.
Yeah,
Yes, Fountain Young would play at Fowler. Dog River Nature Center that could be built. Those are some examples of some other ones around the state. It could be at Dog River Park.
Now, is that over behind the Dog River Library, or is that off of 166?
Behind the library.
Oh, that's behind the library? Okay.
We have 800 acres out there.
That's the property that they acquired.
Now, that
Goes, I
water-
believe it goes all the way down to the river.
It actually crosses a little bit and goes up the other side a little ways, almost to Dorset Bridge Road.
It's actually my backyard,
Oh, yeah?
yes.
That's nice.
What will be in it, will be there?
It's a nature center mainly for kids, for the schools, for, yeah.
Horse trails.
That's splash and spray area, that's a small one. Miscellaneous equipment, infield machines, right now we have one set of machines for infield work. They have to go to each field. Dump trucks, things of that nature. And that's it. And we had some Q&A, so there may be some more.
There may be some more. I am watching our time and needing to sort of figure out how to do this at this point. one thing that might be helpful is to look at some options. First though, I think we need to talk about some things that we want to take into consideration when we do this. And to do that really quickly, I'm going to do the same concept, and given where we're sitting, et cetera, et cetera. So turn to the person the other way. So if you look this way, you're going to have to come over and talk to Mel, maybe, for instance. Basically, I'd like you to talk to your neighbor and come up with one or two things that you think that we need to take into consideration when we're looking at all this. It could be things like we need to address the where the county doesn't have services, or we need to pay attention to renovations over new, or we need to do new over, whatever it is. This is an opportunity for you to put some stuff out there so that you can again collectively see what you're thinking of. So here's the deal. Each person think of one consideration that you want to share with the other person. And then, when you share them, this is when you'll use these half sheets. And so, let's say that Alan and Pearl are still working together. So, Al is going to say, I think this, and Pearl is going to say, I think that. And then they're going to say, well, if we put it like this, we have one suggestion because we have the same kind of thing. Or they'll say, yeah, I really think this, and then if we modify that, whatever. So basically come up with 1, 2, or 3 considerations. And when you do, you're going to write big on here because we're going to put them up there and organize them. Okay, so basically, this needs to be pretty quick. So it's top of mind. Presumably you've been thinking about these kinds of things. So what's important for this group to take into consideration when we're making decisions?
So what are the groups?
So, basically, so Daphne and Al, now, did you work together before? No. So then the two of you, the two of you, the two of you, so Mike and Kenny, because you worked the other way before, John and Brandon, and you guys.
This is what I wrote, read what I wrote. They're all written.
17 million. So that's one perspective that the group could take. Another perspective that the group could take is we're going to choose one, and we got to sort of think through which one of the new things would make the best sense for us. And then we could do a bunch of renovations that would sort of fill out the rest of the 17 million. So that is another approach that you all could take. And then a third one would be all renovations and small additions, because there are a lot of them, all those tennis courts and, the lights here and the, so what I'm curious about before you go into your groups with specific assignments is, and I'm just wondering, this is no pressure, just I'm interested if I ask you to raise your hand about whether you're sort of leaning here, here, or here. We could just sort of see what we've got in this full group before you go off into 4 groups and really talk about the specifics.
Okay.
So can we try it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so how many people think that the 2 new could be a good thing to go for? Okay. How many people think the 1 new and a bunch of renovations makes sense? Okay.
I love the idea of the possibility of combining the senior center and the youth center.
That's an interesting idea, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
So when
Makes
you're saying the
absolute
2 new, is that the 2 new recreation?
Or, right, either,
Any
the
combination.
options were 2 new recreation centers or,
One
and
center.
or one senior center. Those are the
And/or-
largest ticket items.
The soccer complex is as big as either of them.
And the soccer
One could be
complex.
soccer and, you know, two of the new projects.
I'm
is what
right
you're saying,
there.
New
The
projects.
two new.
Well, you know the epicenter that Word of Faith built. I was on the committee when that was first being the vision, and the vision for that building was a combination youth and senior center. That was the vision Bishop Brown had at the time.
So we're gonna think of that, and then I'm moving this because I want to get you into your groups. The third one, how many people are thinking all renovations and small additions? Okay, and I presume you voted only once. I can't really tell. Okay. So you type that in, that people by and large, this seemed to be the one that people have the most interest in, then this is the second and this is the third. No commitment. All right, now let's get those purple. So many things.
Can I ask a question, Mark? Which one of those phrases would improve beautification of most?
Beautification, the most?
Yeah,
I would say C.
see? Okay.
So, what I want to do now is, I don't know that this is death list, but at least let's put this somewhere.
I do have a question for you, Mark. Is there any other location that you considered for those soccer fields?
Yeah, I would consider any location. We don't have land in any other location that we actually don't have this. But it's a possibility.
Now, we are now going to, and clearly we're going to start, and we're going to see what we can do within our time frame. These are the groups I want to show you what we did. Basically, districts, I made different colors of the different districts to try to figure out who would be where. And this is what I'm setting up, so that basically when you meet, you represent the four corners, as it were, of the district. And your assignment, and I'm gonna pass this around, and you're gonna see what we can do within this period of time, and then we'll see what happens next, okay? So I'm gonna read this to you so that you can sort of think through it. Basically, if you're at A, then you're gonna join this area here. If you're at B, you're gonna join that area. If you're C, you're over in that area under the movie introductions, and D is off in that corner. Okay? So it's sort of like a game, although it's not at all a game. You have 17 million to allot for parks and recreation projects across Douglas County. Each card, and I'm going to give to each group, which one are you?
I'm C.
She's C.
Okay.
So find a B, and give them to each of these. Okay, so each card has an option and a price tag listed that is from the PowerPoint. Your assignment is to put together a balanced basket of projects that will satisfy the things that we have said that we would take into consideration and that will serve as many citizens as possible, okay? So here is a suggested process, and basically, it's up to the four, or there are five, but I know that Demetrion isn't here, so I think I'm gonna ask Pearl if you would join C, if you wouldn't mind. Okay. Thank you. So here's a suggestion. Go around and poll each of you all about your top must-do choice. So maybe there's a suggestion that would be a large ticket item, and yet basically, what is it that each person thinks is most important? And see, when you hear from the four of you, whether there's something that everybody said, in which case you take your piece of paper, this is a large version of that, and you, let's say it's the rec center, 6.8 million here, and you pin it with these on here. And somebody will keep, one of you needs to keep track of the money, basically. So if we're saying that we want to do a rec center and you put in your location, you know that you have just spent effectively 6.8 million. Then you go around and you figure out sort of the next thing that the 4 of you all can agree to. And you begin to put it together until it gets to 17 million. And then what we'll be asking you to do is present your basket and your reasoning to the group. And because they are color-coded, when we have the 4 across, we'll be able to see, oh my goodness, we have a blue one in 3 of the 4, or something like that. Oh, that looks as if maybe we agree on that. We don't need to talk that one to death. So it will help us figure out where the issues are, where we need to talk at the next level. Is that perfectly clear?
Yes.
Let me just sort of suggest the last thing that's not on this card. Basically, if there were some, and I will not pick a specific example, but if in the options, there's one that all of you think, we don't want to do that one, put it aside so that you're basically, using the cards and focusing on what you want to be talking about, as opposed to if there's anything you can discard, take it out. Okay?
Can I make
Yes.
one point? Instead of moving Pearl, can you move one of the other people so that you have at least one female in each of the groups?
The other person that I was thinking to move is either Forrest or Kenny. Because I'm trying to
Right,
keep
I
it.
understand.
So would Forrest or Kenny come to?
I'm not married to anybody here. I'm easy to get along with.
So thank you. Thank you.
I'm in what group?
Okay, so now, stand up, please, move to your groups, and we are around to answer your questions. Hello, welcome. Quiet in the room, please. So basically, we want to hear, I would think that you'd be interested as we leave, what a little smidgen from each group, what you're thinking. If you have one project, just what you're thinking, one sentence, so that we can be interested in each other, and then we'll come back. And basically, next week, we will have these sheets, we'll keep them exactly, et cetera, and we'll resume. Okay? So, y'all, what would you say about a minute of what do you got?
We propose to have a rec center with a basketball gym in the Post Road area on either on the west or south side. And we would like to use about $1 to $1.5 million to upgrade our baseball facilities rather than just renovate them completely. And then the other, and all told between the two of those, that would be about $10 million. We still have about 7.
Excellent. Thank you. So let's applaud that group for what they did in negative minutes. Okay, this group, what are you all thinking?
So our big idea was that we wanted to be able to touch the entire county and be able to put that money everywhere as opposed to focusing on one specific project. We did come to the consensus that the senior center was a big idea. We decided to go with the pool option just so that we could use a large sum of money and make sure that we have enough to be able to make the center how we want it, and then, if we have enough over, we'll use it for other places. So that's one consensus that we came to, was that everybody agreed that we need that senior center because there's such a need for the senior centers here. And then we also decided that we wanted to do the Dog River Nature Center because it's going to bring in so much tourism, and it's also great for the kids. So now you're touching your elderly people, those who came before us, and then you're also doing something for those who are coming next.
Great.
Giving them a place to rewind the facility. And then we took the rest and said that with this $500K for the dump trucks, we thought that was a necessity because that's not going to just be used in one park. Renovations are going to be happening at all the parks. So if we have these dump trucks and these different equipment and machinery that we need, then we can use that all over the county.
Great.
Right. And then I think that's about it. The last part was that we did feel that we needed the
lighting for the soccer.
Great, thank you. Let's applaud that group. This group, what'd you come up with?
Okay.
Or are you coming up with? Because we aren't finished.
So we thought the recreation gym and somewhere on the west side, and then the rest, we felt like the parks just needed some beautification. You know, you might need to renovate, but we did also want the splash parks in all locations.
All right,
We still included the 500,000 for the equipment.
Yes.
all right, thank you. And where are you all?
So I think we're all leaning toward the rec center. We're still debating on whether we want to do the combined rec senior citizen thing. I think as far as some of the other parks like Deer Lake and Bill Art, we think that they should definitely be renovated, but we don't want. So we're changing the pricing as well as what's being done at, say, Deer Lake, Bill Art, because we thought both of those definitely need to be touched because some as well as and then we're still debating on some of the other ones. So.
Great, thank you. Okay, so as we exit, my question is, do you feel that we can approve the minutes, which are basically the agenda and the voting from July 26th? Can we approve that?
Second.
I'll say aye. Good, thank you, so we've done that. I think this is it. So what we will do is come back ready, on time, 6 o'clock next Thursday, and we will work on this until.
What about the homework assignment? Are we gonna push that out or?
I think we might push it out because it's 8 o'clock. So I'll tell you what the homework is, and then we can hand it out. I'm just gonna tell you what it is, and then we'll hand it out.
Okay, before you do that, there's 2 people that hadn't handed in their homework for this week. So if you have, I've got 12, I need 14. So there's 14 members.
Okay.
Day after school.
He's giving his.
So at any rate, the homework is to look at the 2, there are maps here, 2 potential areas for economic development. And there's a set of instructions for you to think about, questions for you to think about, and it's for September 1st. So we're giving you 2 weeks to do this mulling. And when you come back with it, there's nothing you have to write. It's just, it's helping you get ready for the conversations and the thinking together, okay? And it is 8 o'clock, and we started on time. Yes, Mel?
If anybody would like to see what the splash pads would look like, send me an email, and then I can set up a meeting where you can come out to Anahuac Trails and you can look at the splash pads that we have at our facility. I'm the VP of the HOA, so it won't be a problem.
And we sent you all everybody's email addresses today, so
Yes, I got it.
you have it. So communicate with each other, okay?